Divers have located the body of a man who went missing in Victoria's Lake Eildon, making it the fifth drowning in Victoria since Christmas Eve. Meantime, an off-duty police officer has died saving his son on the New South Wales south coast after the teenager became stuck in a rip. Joining me now live is National Manager of Research and Policy for the Royal Lifesaving Society, Stacey Pidgeon. Stacey, thank you for joining us. Another tragic few days in Australia's waterways.
All of these drowning deaths are completely tragic, and our thoughts go out to their families and loved ones for the summer. To date, from the 1st of December, there's been 26 drowning deaths across Australia.
And why is there a particular warning around rivers and lakes?
Well, rivers and lakes, we know are very beautiful, but they don't have, lifeguards and lifesavers like our beaches do. We also know there's a lot of rivers and lakes that are very full at the moment because of flooding that's gone on around the country. And a lot of these places are also in remote and isolated locations. So they do pose, a higher risk of drowning than perhaps other water bodies where we have to be very cautious around those. So making sure that we check the signage, that we check the conditions before we go in as well, and making sure that we do avoid alcohol around water. Unfortunately, over 25% of all drowning deaths in the summer do involve alcohol. We know it's a time that people are, on holiday, they're potentially a little bit more complacent, but alcohol and water just simply don't mix.
Yeah, you mentioned alcohol and water. We're seeing a number of drownings already, even over the last few days. A fifth drowning in Victoria since Christmas Eve alone. What are the other key risk factors for drowning?
Particularly for adults, boating and kayaking, we've seen that people don't wear life jackets. We know that life jackets can save lives. They keep people floating. The other factor is also people going alone. Unfortunately, with some adults, and particularly males, we do see people going alone. So there's no one there to raise the alarm or to go and get help if something happens, and it can potentially be days until that person is found. So we do encourage people to don't go alone, avoid alcohol, wear a life jacket, and of course with young children around water, making sure that you always supervise them as well. And it doesn't really matter how good a swimmer your child may be. It is really important to make sure that we do supervise children of all ages because, of course, swimming in a swimming pool is very different to those open water environments like rivers and lakes and beaches.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some really good advice there. Has the pandemic at all had an impact on people learning how to swim across the country? We know that swimming lessons were cancelled for quite a significant period of time. Has that had an impact?
We've certainly seen, a number of children miss out on swimming lessons because of pool closures. They haven't returned to swimming lessons. But equally, we've also seen adults not being able to get to their local swimming pool and not being swim fit or perhaps not have the same fitness and be able to, refresh their skills before they head out into those open water environments. And again, we've also seen people go to those more remote and isolated locations away from crowds, but that also means it's away from emergency services, people going to unpatrolled beaches and those sorts of locations as well. So we do encourage people to get down to your local swimming pool. It's a great place to go with the kids, but also for adults as well. And there's lots of vacation programs around for kids, so we do encourage people to enrol children in those programs, but also adults going down to your local swimming pool is great as well. But equally as well, making sure that you go to those locations where there are lifeguards, so not just pools, but our patrolled beaches as well.
Stacey Pidgeon, thank you so much for joining us this morning.